Told me we were going to go live. Hey, welcome into the program. What's poppin'? It is what you know as Heat Check under the Humm Daddies umbrella. Excuse me. We have one Artavan Davron. We have one Jacob Lucas. Every time I point, it's different than the boxes that I'm looking at when I actually see it. So maybe I should just start doing the opposite. Anyways, you know the fellas. I'm Zachariah. That's Jacob Lucas. That's Artavan Davron. And we are Heat Check every Tuesday night. Right around this time, about 7 o'clock, we give you about an hour and 15, sometimes hour and a half. If we're having fun, maybe we'll even give you $1.45. But Art's going to be in and out. He's got some work stuff he's got to do the next couple of days, so he'll probably be out at any point. But at that point, then you'll still have me and Jay Lou, and we got a great show for you today, fellas. How is everybody? Jake, how are you, sir?
I am joyous, just feeling great. The sickness has left the household after
finally. What is that? Been a month?
A month of the flu and norovirus. Just was wild over here. Children sick, vomit everywhere, shit everywhere.
Oof.
Just disgusting. But
both ends, huh?
Now, no more cough, no more sniffles, no more diarrhea.
That's
We're living
good.
The dream here in Lucas
good.
Land.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, I've heard that go through families, and that's the thing when you have kids and you guys are all in tight quarters. Once one person gets it, it's just a matter before the whole family gets it. Artavan, how are you, sir?
Feeling good. Feeling great. Okay.
Yeah.
How are you?
Oh man, no complaints. Although this puppy, man, you know, I keep forgetting that when I got Nash, my German Shepherd, my beautiful German Shepherd that I had for 12 lovely years, I had him. He was trained and he was 2 years old. I got myself a 3-year-old, a 3-month-year-old, I should say. And so, yeah, she's the joy of my life right now. But man, she is this whole potty training and, you know, sit, lay down, you know, come, go, you know, all that stuff. It's not easy. So, but she's worth it. She's worth every second of the anguish because the joy is that great. So overall, I'm doing fantastic. All right, gentlemen, let's get into it. Oh, first, let's throw out the handles. On Twitter, I will still always call it Twitter, like I will still always call the San Diego Chargers the San Diego Chargers. I refuse to call them where they moved. Same with the Oakland A's and the Oakland Raiders. I will always just call them that, so I will always call it Twitter. I'm on Twitter at Zach Sports, ZAK Sports. Art, you are at Art
Knows_sports.
Art Knows_sports. And Jay Lou, you want to just give your personal handle out?
Loke-leasy.
One day we will tell the story. No, we probably won't. And then, of course, you can follow the Humm Daddies all over the place. Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. Subscribe, rate, follow, leave a comment. We love it all. You know what I'm saying? We love the listeners' participation. All right, gentlemen, we start here. All-Star Weekend. Now, All-Star Weekend, I got to be honest, you know, and this time around, it fell on Valentine's Day. So I don't know what that did for the ratings, but look, when we were kids, the All-Star game was still kind of a joke. When we were really young, you remember like when Bird and Magic and Barkley played, it was competitive. Then as we got like into our 10s, 11s, and then our teen years or whatever, the game was always kind of a joke. But we were in the sweet spot. Well, I guess the real sweet spot was Jordan and Dominique in terms of the slam dunk contest, but we were there for Jay Rich. We were there for Vince Carter. So the dunk contest was dope. Over the past few years, there hasn't been really anything. I think I've enjoyed the skills challenge more than anything else over the past few years. But by golly, well, let's start with the three-point contest. First, how great was it that Steph hit that shot from the broadcast booth? That was amazing. And then the other guys tried and couldn't get it done. I think it was Melo and Vince Carter or whatever.
What do you mean? They're not hitting that. Of course not.
Well, I'm just saying it was just funny. Anyway, so let's start with the three-point contest. Booker, choke job, which is the story of my sons. By the way, shout out to Contra Costa College. But did you guys watch the three-point contest? You can be honest. Or did you catch the highlights?
I caught it all. I was watching live, all of it. It was great All-Star festivities. I give A+ to the NBA for the work they did over the All-Star. Might have been life circumstances. I happened to just be having the day sort of to myself, chilling. Levi was in a good mood, and we were just watching. So being relaxed as a busy-ass person these days, that might have been half of it. But my God, to just kick your feet up, watch what I would say is always entertaining. I've never had a problem with the three-point contest. watch a good 3-point contest.
A great 3-point contest. I mean, that was.
Absolutely.
I mean, I thought Booker really choked down the stretch, man. All he had to do was make. I think if he made 3, he won. No, if he made 2, he won. And if he made 1, he tied. And he had 4 threes and choked it away, which is typical Phoenix Suns basketball.
You got Dame doing what he does best, shot make.
Oh, that was great. That was great. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to play defense. You don't have to win an NBA championship. You just got to chuck threes. So you had Dame doing what he likes to do. Shout out Coop on the chat line. So that was fun to watch. And then, are we going just to the 3-point contest? I'll just leave it there.
Yeah. Let's start.
Yeah,
let's just start with that.
I think next year will be way better. You saw the tweet from Booker, from Lillard to Steph, and they're saying they're going to go Steph, Clay, Booker, and Dame and recruit 4 more shooters and make it a pure, real 3-point contest next year.
Love
I think there's some fire in the building. I think there was some reinvigorating on All-Star Weekend. So if we get that show, that'll be heck of fun. You get the OGs, you get some new ballers, but it was slight way shade to who was in it, right? They're like, we need to get Bobby Portis out of this, right? Like, no hate on you. You got the broadcast talk about how much it improved he is and how great a 3-point, and then they're like, and he's shooting 35% from the year. Well, yeah, so not that impressive. Like, we don't need Bobby Portis in the 3-point contest. So if they can add that, I love it. But I always have fun. You don't got to do much to make me enjoy the 3-point contest.
Jay Lou, did you see the 3-point contest live, or did you catch highlights?
I caught some highlights. You know, the whole 2 p.m. thing, which was the first time I remember in my lifetime that it started this early.
You know why, right? You know why, right?
Olympics?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea it was going to start at 2. So I was out with the family, trying to wear out the kids. And people were texting about all the All-Star events. I'm like, what the hell? I usually it's at 5 every year. So I was counting on watching it at 5. Didn't happen. It was all over by then. But yeah. I mean, it was cool seeing Dame do his thing.
But by the way, Dame back in a 0. By the way, for anybody listening out there that doesn't know it, he wears 0 as in O, as in for Oakland. It was great to see him in a Blazers O jersey for sure. And it was a close ass contest, and I thought there was, it wasn't quite like back in the day for some of the 3-point contests that I can think of, but I know this. Booker's a former champion. Dame's now won it, 3 times? I think Steph's won it. How many times? Clay's won it, I think. So, yeah, having all those guys. Artie, I think what they're kind of saying is all the guys that have championships in that 3-point contest is what we want for next year. So it is kind of a diss to them, but you can understand.
Yeah, you want to jump in, Don?
I was just going to say something, quick story that the year Clay won, he was going against Steph, and I was back in LA. I was at a strip club and bet rent money with the bouncer at the strip club that Clay was going to beat Steph. And if I lost that, I wasn't going to be able to pay rent. So the bet won, and I was a happy camper. That's the story.
Solid story. Art, did you want to say one more thing? You want to move on to the dunk contest?
We can move on to the dunk contest. I think I was just going to say something about getting the I think it's because they also wanted to get those veterans. I think the veterans got rejuvenated in this All-Star game a little. It's kind of fun, They see the league slipping away a little, and you got Dame coming off his injury, and he's like, I just won the 3-point contest. Let's get the real shooter. Show these people, Knuppel.
Con Air.
Whatever his real name is. Is it Knuppel? Anyway, people out here trying to compare him to Steph, trying to compare him to Clay. Get out of here, boy. You better fucking earn your stripes. You just shooting some trays out here in Charlotte. Come on. Anyway, so trying to let people know what's up.
He had a rough stretch. All right, well, following that, and boy, did they make a spectacle of this. By the way, side note, I heard that the attendance was garbage and that they countered that by having all those flickering like things in the stands. I don't know if you saw it, but apparently it was like $600 to get in the door, and it was not that well attended. So they played it off. Instead of showing the crowd, they just had like a bunch of flickering lights in the crowd. Anyways, on to the main event. By the way, those intro videos I could do without. The whole like giving them nicknames and showing all this, like that's enough. It's enough to just introduce them and have them do their thing. That's one thing. That's fine. But the whole video before that, I could have done without. Other than that, my biggest takeaway from the dunk contest, other than the fact that it wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It was better than it's been in years past. But my biggest takeaway was Jason Richardson's son. The guy looked like somebody you would pick up for pickup hoop. He had it. First of all, he had the shirt under the jersey, which I'm doing because I'm not a buff NBA player. He also looked short and pudgy, and he just didn't look like a complete athlete, although he did impress me with his dunks. But what'd you guys make of the dunk contest?
He looked like an out of shape Jamal at Cornice's Park. Jamal would fluctuate in weight.
That's an inside joke. That's an inside joke, but that's a good comparison.
Trying to get out there. So yeah, that was quite something. It had, remnants of Khalid El Amin in his prime, or maybe out of his prime. That was pretty funny. It was really by name. To rewind one thing you said, so it is a joke who's in the dunk contest. So we don't need to just talk about that, right? The dunk contest is a problem because you got random dudes in it that nobody's heard of. But given that they have random dudes that nobody's heard of, I very much appreciated the little 1-minute videos, letting me get introduced to everybody so I could figure out who I decided I was going to root for.
That's fair. That's fair.
Able to get a little bit of the vibe and learn what we were going to see. But yeah, that was pretty unbelievable to come out looking like that and then get hung and concuss yourself.
Oh, fell straight back on his dome.
That was pretty rough. But I got to say, that kid Patrick Bryant could dunk a basketball. Like, I think that was his name. That dude on the Spurs. Like, if we're talking put on a show, he absolutely put on a show.
And he wasn't even the winner.
Won the winner. And part of what made this year's dunk contest watchable and good, even though it wasn't the players we want, is they took to heart trying to get their dunks in right away. They weren't like, let me use all the time I can. I don't know if they shortened the time too. That might have helped if they did. But it didn't feel like you're waiting a super long time. And the only time you were was the funnest time of the night because you're on pins and needles. You're like, can Patrick Bryant just do his dunk? Because if he does the dunk, he's winning the contest. And if he doesn't, he's not. And unfortunately, he didn't win it. Me and Levi were rooting for him over our guy from Oakland because we just both agreed there was a little too much dancing and stomach showing and too much showmanship. We wanted a little bit more eye on the prize. So, but then in the end, happy to see the Oakland kid win.
Our boy Kashad Johnson, though, look, the dancing irritated me too. Look, it was dope when he first came out with 40 and he did his dance, and that was cool. But then doing it constantly, and what was the jersey raising thing? I didn't get that, but he is from the town, and he brought out 40. So I can't hate too much that he won, but I'm with you. I was going with the other guy too.
What high school did he go to? Do you guys know?
Do not. Sure. I can look it up.
Yeah, that's surprising. Usually you like guys with a lot of flair, so I'm surprised that it was too much flair for you.
You know what it wasn't quite the flair I'm looking for. It looked a little bit corny. It didn't look authentic as I like to see. He kind of had a little bit of a corny town presence, like he was trying a little bit too hard. That's really where my issue was. If he looked really natural with it, I would have loved it. But I'm also not trying to hate on a dude from the O who just won the slam dunk contest, had a beautiful conversation with his mom after. They got it on the TV. I saw a clip of it. His mom couldn't believe. You could just tell she's been a damn good mother to him his whole life, talking about how I told you could do anything you want. It was a beautiful moment to see. So, yeah, we got a couple kids from the O winning the three-point contest and the slam dunk contest. Hell, yeah. Right in L.A.
That? How about
J. Lou? He went to San Leandro High, by the way.
Okay, cool. Yeah, two dudes from the O. So, and isn't that just a shame that all three pro teams have been taken from the O, and you got it's still breeding these dope athletes. And Oakland Athletic Club, the bar that I remember watching an A's playoff game there with Zach, watching a lot of soccer with Zach. Like, sports bars can't even stay open in Oakland. Like, what the hell's going on, man? Come on.
I don't know, man. They got to get it together. But yeah, I mean, I feel you. I mean, not having sports teams in a place that breeds so much talent is just, it's sad, honestly. I mean, look, you still got the Warriors, even though they're in San Francisco. You got the Giants, who have always been in San Francisco. But yeah, in terms of Oakland. But yeah, I thought it was, put it like this. Most of the dunk contests that I've seen over the past 5 or so years or whatever have been like a C- C or whatever. And I gave this like a B. I was entertained. I was having fun. I mean, me and Art are on a different text chain, and we were texting the whole time while the game was going on. So it definitely, kept me entertained, and ultimately not Not awful, which is not the best way to say it, but a lot better than saying that it was a complete joke and it was awful. All right. Here is the dessert or the entree.
Well, how about the skills? How about the skills challenge though? You didn't do that. That was dope.
You liked that?
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched all of it.
I mean, Corey Maggette catching fire. What else you want to see?
That was pretty amazing. And
that was unbelievable.
And I was rooting for my Knicks. Okay, all right. I didn't know you wanted to touch on that.
I just wanted to give that shout out to Maggette because that was unreal.
Well, I mean, the older players were unreal. Allen Houston was blacked out. I mean, I did kind of like seeing the older players. And then it was kind of weird. The Knicks had Karl Anthony Towns. Oh, no, his dad was the passer. Karl Anthony Towns, Allen Houston, and Cat. And, I mean, it was kind of exciting. It came down to the wire. I didn't think they were going to win. They needed like 2 or 3 of those damn near half quarters at the end to win. So you're right. That was exciting. I actually liked that probably more than the dunk contest.
It was good. I mean, Jake, if you missed it, the New York Knicks were off. Wait, so Maggette was with the Knicks? I can't even remember because why would he be with the Knicks?
No, he was with the Clippers.
Oh yeah, exactly.
He went off first and he hit
hit. Sorry. Yeah. But yeah, so he's with these fools are bricking every shot. All it was go station to station. And Corey Maggette's the only reason they make it to the next round. Brick, bucket. And then all of a sudden they got no chance. He hits 3 half quarters in a row to send them into the next round. Everybody else
Maggette?
And Maggette's going off 1 foot. Boom.
Corey Maggette was going off.
It was pretty exciting.
Forever Warrior.
And then that I heard on a podcast the next day, they had there was a podcast, whose was it? Villanueva. I don't know. Remember Charlie Villanueva? I think he's got alopecia, he's got no eyebrows, baller for the Bucks.
He has a podcast too.
So this dude, I don't know if he has one or was on one. He just started going rogue and started talking about, man, let me tell you about a time when I watched someone get knocked the F out. And he's like, and everybody's like, yeah, no names. He's like, nah, we shouting out names. He's like, and he just goes on a story about the one-hitter quitter that Corey Maggette put on Kyle Klingler. You remember him from Duke? No. Kyle Klingler, I think his name was. I'm probably saying it wrong.
White dude, yeah.
But white dude. He said, did something happen? He said, you better not do that again. He said he did it one more time. Maggette just walked up to him, popped him, knocked him out one hitter. He said he literally made noise when he got hit, like started snorting and snoring, and then Maggette never was on the team again. Done. Got cut. They never told anybody why. Guy just aired all that on his pod. It was unbelievable. Everybody was like, you're not going to name names, are you? He said, hell yeah, I'm naming names. Shout out to Mr. Maggette, and everybody loved it. So, yeah, shout out to Maggette. Hell of a weekend, buddy.
I'm with you. I forgot about. I'm glad that you brought that up before I got to the actual game, because I guess what I was turned off by was how I didn't like any of the introductions. Basically, I hated the introductions where they had the people and they introduced them or whatever. But I did like the fact that they had old heads on each squad. It was hella funny watching Ron Harper. First of all, he missed. So Jake, if you didn't watch it, you start off with the layup, then you go to like a mid-range, then you go to like a free throw, then you go to the top of the key 3, and then I think you go to a corner 3, and then you go all the way back to the top, and you basically heave a damn near half quarter. Ron Harper looking hella old. See, look, when you watch players that were older than you look hella old, it's almost worse than when there's younger players. Like, I feel more old when I see players that are older than me that looked young when we were young look like grandpas, because then I'm like, well, that's me next. You know what I'm saying? If Ron Harper's looking like that damn near is, we're in our 40s, that guy's probably in his 60s, and we're just right around the corner. Anyways, and then he did hit his 3, and he redeemed himself a little bit. I think he hit his mid-range too. But his attempts on the half quarters, the guy, first of all, he was like running so hard, and then I think he might have one-handed it or something. The guy could not come close to the basket. Anyway,
I think I missed him, and I missed the introductions because I only saw
the last 2. Yeah.
Well,
they got eliminated. Yeah, Harper's team got eliminated in the first round. Yeah. He smoked the layup.
On the line, see, by the way, we got E. Chavez. Used to listen to you with the Guru back in the day.
Nice.
We got a long-time listener on the chat. E. Chavez.
Holla, E. Chavez. Yeah, all right. Well, let's get to the main event, gentlemen.
What up, Dom? What up, Rags?
What up, Dom? What up, Rags? What up, Coop? What up, Elliot? Whoever else is out there. Holla at your boys. I got to say this, gentlemen. and I don't want to steal everything, and maybe you'll agree or you'll disagree. We'll see. But I got to say, because this was like what I was the most fired up to talk about. The thing that I thought could never, ever be fixed. And I was so tired of hearing about how to fix it. Like, people have been talking about how to fix stuff forever, right? Like, at one point, probably we'll talk about tanking, or one point we'll talk about rest management, or how do you fix this, or how do you fix that? There was nothing more nauseating doing sports commentating and sports broadcasting on the radio or podcasting or wherever I've been doing it. No more nauseating conversation than how do you fix the All-Star game, right? The NFL just chalked it up. They're like, whatever, we're the king. We make so much money. These fools aren't going to hit each other. Like, I remember they played a little bit in Hawaii back when the Pro Bowl was always in Hawaii. They played a little bit. I got a great clip on YouTube of Sean Taylor just mashing somebody in the Pro Bowl game. But they played a little bit. But then it got worse and worse, and at some point they just chalked it up, and you said, you know what? We're going to play flag football. Like, forget it. We're not even going to try. I don't know what happened in that game. Hell, me and Jake were at the Moscone Center for Super Bowl festivities. It was at the Moscone Center. I didn't even know that. I don't know what the score was. I don't know who played in the game. I didn't even see highlights. They just chalked it up, and the NFL doesn't need it. Adam Silver, you could tell last year, or was it 2 years ago, when he was pissed off when he introduced the MVP, and he was like, it would have been nice if you guys tried. He said something bold to the players, like during the post-game handoff of the trophy or whatever. You could tell Adam Silver was hell-bent on fixing this. Anyways, it's a long way of saying I did not think that they were going to fix it. Damn if they did not fix it. And I'll let you guys get to more of the meat and potatoes, and then I can swing back around on the actual game. But I'll say this more blanket so that you guys can get into details. This was something I never thought would be fixed. And I'm actually a little disappointed. I've been watching national media. I didn't see a lot of enthusiasm. I saw people saying, oh, it was better. Oh, yeah, it was, I kind of like the format. Damn that. Have some enthusiasm. That shit went from a 0 to, I'm not going to call it a 10. There's still probably some things that they can tinker with, but that shit went from a 0 to like an 8.5, 9.
Yeah, I actually caught most of the actual All-Star games, I guess, if you will. And I was blown away with the old heads, dude. Kawhi Leonard was playing harder than I've seen him play in any game in 5 years.
Dude, he had like 32 points in 12 total minutes.
It was crazy. He was balling. He was the claw playing D, getting steals. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, they were playing their asses off. I mean, it's a little muddied up with there was the All-Stars, there was the young. What were the different teams? The young stripes or whatever.
It was basically younger stars, older stars that they had to bring some of the mid-young stars on, like Jaylen Brown and stuff, because they're not. And then the European squad.
I think it was the star. It was the stars, the stripes, and the world. And the stripes were made up of the old heads. The stars were made up of the young heads. They did that on purpose. So they put like LeBron, KD. It was hella funny seeing some of the younger players on the old head team, because I wondered if they thought to themselves, I'm not hella old, like Jaylen Brown was on that squad, Jalen Brunson. But it was KD, it was Kawhi, it was LeBron, and a couple other guys. Anyways, so it was 2 American teams and 1 world team.
Right.
And De'Aaron Fox tried to blow it for the old heads, because he was kind of playing a little ragtag while they were playing tight. He was sort of messing, and then he ended up hitting the game winner, which was kind of funny, because I'm sitting there getting pissed. I'm like, you're the guy turning the ball over, being loose with it all, and then glad he fixed hit that shot. But to me, the All-Star game was 50% Adam Silver. Like, I'm willing to give him the credit and think it was the idea, but I'm pretty stuck on what Ant Edwards said and give him pretty much credit to Wemby. Because if you listen before the game, they interviewed Ant Edwards, and he pretty much flat out said, I'm not going to try. Like, we're past that. He pretty much said as much. He said, we got to the point that we're past that. And then he shouted out Wemby, who basically didn't let that happen, because he went at it. Wemby went at those fools and was starting to ball. And when you're played at the park, anytime, like, all of a sudden, once you realize it's competitive, you might start getting competitive. So all of a sudden, Ant was like, this fool thinks he's about to serve us. And I was like, hell no. And it was the perfect two people to be going against each other because I think they're the two faces of the league. There's no better two faces in the NBA than Wemby and Ant Edwards. And to have them go face to face in the first game and have it be that much sort of a Wemby versus Ant Edwards couldn't have set the tone better. And I'm not convinced the old heads had any intention of trying. But then they watched 12 minutes of action and they saw Ant Edwards feeling himself, and they're like, oh, okay. And LeBron and KD were like, okay, let's show this fool who's really the best player in the NBA. Like you could think, and it just fed off each other. So I feel Wemby, I don't know. Like I think Wemby fixed it as much as Adam Silver. I give him equal credit because apparently he's the one that brought that intensity.
And I wouldn't go so far as to say it's fixed. This year, it went well. They've done this before where they tried different versions of the game. They, some new format, and it goes well initially, and then they get tired of it, and then there's no trying again. So I hope it keeps up and they keep it competitive. But, I mean, it worked this year. I wouldn't say this is going to last forever.
And there's a little too obviously great old heads. And maybe that will continue to happen because I guess we've kind of always seen that. But it really feels like the turning of a chapter in the NBA. So it almost felt even easier to create that sense of urgency. Like, of course, Kawhi, KD, and LeBron want to beat those fools. Like, why wouldn't they? And maybe that'll always be there, hopefully. But I did feel like there was a little natural sense of that. Like they had the world versus but that was on Adam Silver. He's smart, right? He was like, let me figure out an edge for each three teams, world versus USA, old dudes, young dudes. So yeah, I think full circle. He did a hell of a job.
The reason why I think that it'll continue is, look, obviously you're not going to have guys that are playing as long as and as well as KD. And I mean, LeBron's just, his shit is ridiculous. And Curry's probably, based on the way that Curry plays, he could get to be just as ridiculous. And KD's pretty ridiculous. So you're not going to have tons of guys that are going to get that far. But here's the kicker. You don't have to. You can just do guys that are 25 and up, and then guys that are 20 to 25. So it doesn't always have to be hella old versus hella young. It can just be older versus younger, assuming that the talent, is balanced. But yeah, I mean, to your point, Wemby, basically, Edwards, gave a shout out and said, you could tell Wemby wanted to play hella hard. So we all started playing hella hard off top. So yeah, he definitely set the tone. But I think that tone would have been set regardless, because I think based on the way that it's set, for all the time that it's stunk, it's just been two teams. It's been a long game. Fools don't really care. They're throwing alley-oops. They're trying to get oohs and ahs, but it just bored people. I think this truncated system of just playing quarter, it brought some, basically, remember how people always said the All-Star game doesn't get good until the last 2 minutes? Well, people say that about all NBA games, but specifically in All-Star games, fools would try towards the end of the game. In this instance, it was kind of like the end of the game right when the quarter started. So I think that also contributed to it. But I don't really like your guys' pessimism that this was just a one-off.
I don't know. I think it's just to be determined. We'll see how it shakes out. But I'm optimistic.
It was exciting to see, no doubt. Seeing anything competitive at all in an All-Star game is such a rarity these days. So that was really cool to see these dudes, these legends, actually hustling and playing D. That was a change of pace that I liked.
And I like the OT format. One of the games went into OT. You had to hit a marker of 5. And Wemby was so pissed when they lost the first game. I mean, he was, he was pissed that they lost any of the games. But the Joker clearly didn't take it seriously. That might have changed the outcome a little bit for the world if he had. But he kind of saw it as a joke. He didn't care if people were trying or not. But, I mean, overall, and it was hilarious because the old heads beat the young heads, right, and beat the Euros. So they were 2-0 going into the finals. The young heads beat not the Euros, beat the world and lost to the old heads. And then when they had the rematch for the actual winner of the game, you could see how gassed the old heads were. Like, that was kind of the proof. The final score was 47-21. So that was kind of the stinker aspect of it. But overall, total success. I mean, I put it like this. I probably watched anywhere from 10 to 25% of the past 10 years All-Star games. I watched this entirety. I watched this in its entirety.
Me too.
Impressive.
Yeah. Anyways. All right, gentlemen, that'll wrap up All-Star Weekend. Let's go ahead and move on to our Second topic where we talk national sports, but we always got to bring it back to the Bay. We're all Bay boys. And I guess I just want to talk a little Dubs. My question is, not even a question. It's a flat statement. What a bleep show. The godfather of sports broadcasting, in my opinion. I know there's been a bunch, but at least for me, is Greg Papa. So to see him go in on Kerr was a little bit shocking. And just going back to the press conference that Dunleavy had, just kind of the state of the Warriors. And you guys, I know you guys do your Dubs roundtable, but what is the situation with the Warriors? It feels like the least amount of security that I've seen out of this organization since they turned the corner.
Yeah, there's a lot of frustration, man. It's ownership, it's the front office, it's Steve Kerr, the players, and if anyone read the Anthony Slater article about the whole Kuminga fiasco,
that's what Papa was reacting to. Sorry,
right?
That's what Papa was reacting to. Yeah,
right. About the food, his boys were eating too much food, which is just for an organization to put that out there about, you charge $25 for a damn tall can of Michelob Ultra. Don't complain about your buffet for the players. That was kind of a low-class move on the Warriors' part to slide that little hit piece on the way out the door to Kuminga. But, it seems like Steve Kerr handled this poorly. It seems like Kuminga handled it poorly. And I think at the root of it is that Bob Myers and Steve Kerr didn't want Kuminga. They wanted Franz Wagner. And Joe Lacob has been strong-arming the front office a lot the last few years and making his guys picking his guys and kind of overruling the basketball people. And that hasn't worked out well. Apparently, he really loved James Wiseman. He really loved Pods. And so it's time for Lacob to kind of buy the Padres and move that energy over to the Padres and just let the basketball people work on the Warriors, because I think he's a lot to blame. He's a big reason that it's kind of this 2 timeline thing hasn't worked out.
Yeah, when you talk about that sort of symbolic piece that came out about the dysfunction about the food, right? Which really is symbolic of like dysfunction. That's why people are talking about it so much, right?
Reminded me of Jameson crab legs.
Yeah, it's really bad. And Lou Williams comes on his pod and says to make it even worse, like what a thing to hear from a team. He said, if you're an NBA player in any organization, you get told to get as much of that food out of there. Like you get told to bring the food for your family. He went on a big rant about like everybody knows that they don't want any food left over. It's wasted. It goes in the garbage there. And then he went on a thing about how the Warriors are known as giving the best food to everybody. So they're like, these guys are known as like, you're going there on the road, you get treated well. So he was just sort of, and he's been, I will say, Papa, who you referenced, I'm referencing Lou Williams now. These are people who have been in Kuminga's corner for a while, like since it became popular discourse. Boogie Cousins, Lou Williams, Chandler Parsons, Michelle Beadle, they're all very, very pro Kuminga player. Papa has always been sort of, in this instance, pro Kuminga. So like for people who sort of went into this with that lens, it's been hard to ignore. Because I think I've been trying to see both sides forever, but like, and it's obvious Kuminga didn't buy into certain things, but when you just from a totality, top to bottom, think about it, you can't help but just think about how poorly handled it was from an organization, because players do bad things all the time. And from all intents and purposes, we hear most of Kuminga's were, semi bad, and all his teammates talk mostly glowing of him. And to me, the reason they do that is because they genuinely think he's a good person and want to see him get a second chance. I think some of them don't think he was a good fit. Like, I don't think Draymond thinks he was a good fit. I don't think Draymond wanted him as a Warrior, but I think Draymond thinks Kuminga got done wrong. And I think Steph thinks Kuminga got done wrong. Whatever their role in all of it was, I don't think they liked the way it all went down. And so that to me just smells fishy. When nobody can like support the organization, it just, to me, it just reeks. And then you got, like he said, the Dunleavy, the whole thing just looks ugly now. And then you got that, well, he's going to get to it. Yeah.
And just it's so obvious that Steve Kerr has this old school mentality of rookies or younger players just have to earn every little thing, and it pissed him off. It seemed like that Kuminga thought he could be kind of a standalone scorer at times, and he's like, no, you haven't put in the work for that. And so that triggered Steve Kerr and lost Kuminga minutes because he was being too aggressive and thinking he was like a scorer. He's like, no, you haven't earned it. And just Kerr's whole attitude with the young players, it's obvious. They don't know their roles. Steve Kerr wants them to earn every single thing they get, because that's how it was in the 80s. And it's just not translating. His approach with young guys is not working.
Yeah, and so many things have gone wrong since. I mean, look, and that's Artie always talks about it. And Artie, I forget. Did you like the first one the best or the last one the best? Or hopefully it's not the last one, but the most recent one or the first one?
I mean, totally different, but it's got to be the first one. You mean championships?
Okay. Yeah,
totally different. But my God, that fourth one was about as good as anything gets.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you're a Dubs fan, you have to hold on to that so near and dear to your heart, because really everything since KD left, like, they've made every bad decision. Sorry, that's why I had to briefly go, because my puppy's here. Say hi, Marion. Say hi to the world, Marion. Say hi to the world, Marion. Everything that they've done, when Steph was hurt, they got the number 2 overall pick. Wiseman didn't pan out. You get Jordan Poole, who Artie likes to point out. I'd say at least once a week, Artie will send me some YouTube highlight reel of Jordan Poole balling in the playoffs and how much he loves him and misses him. But that you gave him a contract, even that didn't work out. You have Kuminga, who showed tons of flashes and signs of that he could be a baller in this league. That didn't work out. Moody, you could go either way. Pods, what a disaster. It was almost like they had a perfect opportunity. I was literally doing Utah. I was doing radio in Utah when they refused to trade Pods. That was a disaster. Pretty much everything that they've done since KD left, outside of that window of winning with Wiggins, has been a disaster. And so I don't know what they do, because I'll tell you this, and you guys are the two that do the Warriors roundtable. I didn't like the Dunleavy hire off top. Now, Myers obviously did a great job. Some could say he was kind of lucky, but no, he did a great job. And it's hard to replace him. But Dunleavy, first of all, Dunleavy was a bust for the Warriors. That already has a bad taste in my mouth. He was in a long line of busts that the Warriors drafted in all those feudal years. So even that off top, I didn't like. But he also never struck me personality-wise as a guy that I would want running the franchise. So I'm not saying this like hindsight 2020. I off top didn't like that hire. And that press conference, to me, he's got to go, or something's got to happen, because the status quo is not working.
Dunleavy and Troy Murphy were my favorite Warriors team of all time, hands down. But to your point, but Bob Myers actually, I don't think, was that great of a GM as far as drafting. They had some terrible draft picks in the Myers era. Steph was not a Myers guy. Myers was after
all terrible drafts.
Clay was, Draymond was
all terrible drafts.
Not
I mean,
claim
on
on
a couple guys. He's hit on like 2-3 out of 30. I mean, he had a terrible draft pick.
Yeah, Bob Myers did not draft well, but
he made some. Hang on, he made some good trades. You're not going to hit on all your picks. He made some good moves too.
No, he's had a good bench. The strength of numbers was him. He knew how to scout out the veteran talent. So, overall, he was definitely a good GM. I did not care for a lot of his draft picks, but that's also when you're winning a lot, you're not going to have very high draft picks. So there's not much you can do about that.
I mean, he was also just giving results.
Yeah. So I don't really mind. Dunleavy doesn't rub me the wrong way as much as he does for a lot of guys. Because he's kind of put in this shit situation where why do you think Myers got out of there? Lacob was so overbearing to deal with, and he's not letting these guys kind of do their job. And I think that's why Bob Myers left, because Lacob got this God complex, and he pokes his head into the talent pool too much. He wants to be basketball ops. And I think that's been a big downfall for the Warriors.
Well, I think Curry loves him. And right now, Curry is he's basically the god of the Warriors. So whatever Curry wants, as long as he's going to play, and I don't know if one day he's going to want to finish his career in Charlotte. I'm not sure how that's going to go, but whatever Curry wants, Curry should get. Curry loves Kerr. I think they're going to be lockstep. I don't know how many more years Steph has. Like I said, the way he plays, he could be playing for a long time. I don't know if Kerr's got to go, and I especially don't think he's going to go if Curry doesn't sign off on it. So I don't know what else you do other than change the GM, and then you've got to adapt. You can't just keep bringing people to Kerr that you know Kerr's not going to get that Kerr's not going to mesh well with. Now, could you flip that on the other side and say Kerr should adjust? Sure, but he hasn't shown that he's going to. So then you adjust to Kerr and Curry and Draymond or whatever. I don't know how much longer Draymond's going to be going either. But so do you think Warrior Nation or Dub Nation or whatever, you think they're just putting their hands together and praying for Giannis in the offseason? And we're going to get to him later. But is that the move? Is that the only move?
They're not getting Giannis. So I don't think anyone's even thinking about that anymore.
Well,
that seems like a pipe dream and gone and done.
No. The reports were at the deadline, the Warriors were the closest. They have the best package that they can give him.
Yeah.
That was prior to the offseason. They're not going to have the best package in the offseason to give him.
Yeah, that's what most people were saying.
I know, but I'm saying at the deadline they were closest. Doesn't mean that they're going to be that far apart. The Knicks are not. The Knicks don't have any picks, and that's where he wants to go. And I don't know how much Milwaukee wants Cat, who's obviously going to be a part of that deal. So I don't think you guys think the Warriors are totally out on Giannis.
I don't think they're totally out. I just don't think they're the favorites anymore, and it's going to require a lot. But sure, go all in for him. Still, I'm down.
I think Dunleavy thinks Porzingis is going to play, which is just a joke. I'm just disheartened.
If he is healthy and playing with Steph, that's going to be a good look. I'm excited to see that. And by the way, the Warriors are playing, and I guess how many games are left? 27 or something? I think around there.
Yeah, it's
13 of those games are against teams that are basically officially tanking. So the Dubs can run off a big number of wins here and get.
But you got no Butler.
But that Porzingis.
We got Gee. We got Mr. Gee Santos, boy. Come on, we already been done.
Patty Spence, baby. Patty Spence.
Well, definitely not the best time for Dub Nation. We'll see how everything plays out. I just got to hope. I do think somebody made this point, and I like to cite my sources, but I forget who said it, that Curry strikes the world as the kind of person that wants to have it on his resume that he only played for one team, right? Yeah. Kevin Durant's now on his sixth team. LeBron James he's only Harden, all these guys have played on all these teams. I think Steph strikes me as the kind of guy that it's important to him that he played his whole career with one team. Cause people do say that. You like people will, when people are talking about people that have retired, like retired greats, they'll talk about their accolades, their championships, their MVPs, but oftentimes, because it's very rare, when it does apply to somebody that played for, people will say that at the end. They'll be like, he won 3 championships, he had 2 MVPs, he made 10 All-Star games, and don't forget, he played for one team. That is kind of a stat. That is kind of a notch in your belt, and I could see that being important to Curry.
And when you think about it, it's so rare. Think about the guys that haven't played for one team that you think of, like the legends. Willie Mays, multiple teams. Michael Jordan, multiple teams. Joe Montana, multiple teams. So the gods of the game in all of sports,
Jerry Rice,
very rare to play for
Jerry
one
Rice.
team.
Patrick Ewing played for the Sonics at the end.
Right.
My boy Chuck Wagon played for 3. He played for Philly, Phoenix, and then but he tried to chase the title.
Dominique was on like the Spurs and the Clippers.
He was on the Celtics at the weigh-in.
Yes, he was. Good call.
Shaq was on.
Shaq was on hella teams. He was.
After. Yeah.
What was his nickname?
He was on the Celtics. He was on I think he was on all them teams.
Shaq was on the Cavs.
What was the thing? What was the thing that he put on at the end of everything?
Diesel?
Oh, was he Cactus Diesel? No, it was something else. Cactus. But when he was on the Suns, it was something Cactus or Cactus something, and he put it on every team that he went to. Oh. Did he play for the Cavs?
Yeah.
Yeah, he played for the Cavs. The big something, right? Wasn't he like? I don't know. Yeah.
Well, he was the big Aristotle. Maybe he was the big Cactus. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, he was on the Celtics, all that stuff. So yeah. So I do think it'll be. Huh?
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of goats, you think what do you think the chances are Curry gets two two statues outside of Oracle. I heard somebody say it, and I think he's going to get 2. I agree.
For
I
what?
think
Like a Splash Brothers statue and Curry.
I think it's gonna. I think I
Oh.
agreed with the take that Draymond and Clay aren't going to get their own, and there's going to be a big 3 statue and a Steph statue, and that's what I would do. Once I heard it, I was like, that's what I'd do, because it doesn't even feel right for them to be equal. Like, it doesn't feel right for each of them to get one. It feels wrong for them not to all get one. So it's almost like the perfect way to deal with it is like create this. I don't
Clay
know,
and
it just got me thinking.
I don't think Clay would care. Maybe Dre wouldn't care either. I mean,
He'd be the first ever 2 statues.
I think both of those guys know that Steph is way better and probably does deserve 2 statues. I hadn't heard that, but that's not bad.
I've been hearing a lot of Clay slander from people saying like he's not a real Hall of Famer and stuff lately online. People are forgetting how amazing Klay Thompson was in his prime. The dude was the best shooter on earth, you know? I mean, he was better than Steph just from catch and shoot guy. He was amazing. He was the best catch and shoot guy of all time.
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody say he's not a Hall of Famer. That's ridiculous. First of all, I think basketball is the easiest Hall of Fame to get into.
Yeah.
They factor in your high school, your preschool, your
Right.
junior college, whatever. And so there's no way he's not getting in. But I am with you on this. I have heard some Clay slander in that a lot of people will say, well, yeah, he didn't like you said, catch and shoot, not create his own shot. He wasn't like the focal point. So he was, but who cares? Scottie Pippen was the number 2. He's in the Hall of Fame. And guess what else Scottie was that Clay was? One of the best two-way players in the NBA. So you can say whatever you want about him not being like a dominant by himself offensive player. Again, this is a guy who had 37 points in a quarter. And don't forget, guarded the best player on the other team every single time, which made up for what? Steph Curry's lack of defense. So whatever you want to say about what Steph did for Clay on offense, Clay did for Steph on defense.
Yeah, Clay's a legend. I don't want to hear any Clay slander. All right.
All right, gentlemen, this is a staple of the show. It's a little thing, we're heat check. So we got to do a little heat check where we either go icy for the old schoolers out there. You know what icy is. That means dope, clean, tight. You know what I mean? Then you got mid for the youngsters. Mid means average, whatever. You're so-so. You're down the middle. And then just for heat check, like NBA Jams, he's on fire. So you can either be icy, mid, or on fire. Art, let's start with you, and let's start with the Olympics. And I don't want to get into each individual sport, speed skating, and whatever the hell else is going on.
Icy.
Okay, icy. So you haven't been watching any of it.
Who is? Icy.
I've been watching some.
Terribly branded, terribly covered, and absolutely awful.
Elaborate on the branded.
Had no idea it was happening.
First of all, Snoop Dogg's out there, so anytime Snoop's on, I'm leaving the channel. He was interviewing a speed skater, and I watched that shit.
Yeah, I didn't know the Olympics were happening, and I saw Snoop talking about curling, so I thought Snoop started liking curling. So I started Googling about why.
No, he's in Italy,
and I realized that we got Olympics going on. So
yeah, he's in
Italy. If I didn't know the Olympics, I didn't know the Olympics started.
That's pretty bad.
I never in my life didn't know the Olympics. And then I asked somebody, I don't remember who, I think it was my neighbor. I was like, did you know? He's like, no, I didn't know. And then I saw this thing about Lindsey Vonn. And I said, exactly. Nobody knows. Nobody's talking. Nobody knew. So yeah, it's terrible. It's been awful.
Well, here's the thing, Art, and I'm not going to claim to be an Olympic aficionado. I have watched some ice skating. It's pretty amazing when they do the what's it called, synchronized ice skating or whatever. The fact that they can move at the same time, like I was watching that, it was almost like double vision. To get that down, that must take so many hours. And then if you go out there and fail, I mean, I don't know what the suicide rate is for Olympian participants, but like you spend your whole life trying to get to that moment and then you either fall or choke or whatever. So I'm not going to claim that I'm a huge Olympic guy. Okay. I have caught some of the hockey. I've caught some of the speed skating and I've caught some of the skiing, but I'm not a huge Olympic guy, especially not the winter sports. I prefer the summer sports, but I will say this, Art, the reason why I knew about it, they advertised the shit out of it on Sunday Night Football.
Art doesn't watch football.
News to me. News to me.
Good point.
Anyways, I'm mid. Art's icy. I'm mid. Where are you, Jake?
On fire.
We got the whole gambit here. Tell us why, Jake. Tell the people. Sell the Olympics to the people. You know what? Just sell it to Artie, and then that will sell it to the people.
Quad God. Oh, my Lord. I was into this guy with his
He
black
choked.
suit.
Oh, Jake, he choked.
I know. But the guy was amazing. When I first saw his first performance, his first skate, he had this black unitard on with gold sparkles. The guy's legs are just so long and graceful. And the guy was just doing these crazy triple sow cows and quadruple sow cows, just killing the game. It was this young dude. He had a voiceover on his backing track. He put his own voice over the classical song that he was playing, saying,
What?
There is no time for weakness.
That was him?
Yeah. And the story, his two parents were from the Eastern Euro, and they were professional figure skaters. His whole story really sold me, and I bought into that guy. And then he just massively choked with all the pressure, everything on the line. Went from first to eighth in his last routine and was just crushed. It was a sad moment.
Was that you snoring, Art? Was that you snoring, Art?
Yeah, what was that? Oh,
Lindsey Vonn breaking her leg was pretty wild. Rag said something. There's this dude, I think he was from Belgium, and he's some kind of skier. I don't know exactly what event, but they interviewed him. He won the gold medal, and he said, 6 months ago, I was making love to my gorgeous, beautiful wife. And then 3 months ago, I made the biggest mistake of my life, and I was unfaithful to her. And now she is not in my life and won't even talk to me anymore. So I'm hoping she hears this.
you got see Rags on the chat line talking about that, or did you listen to that? Yeah.
No.
That's hilarious.
No, first of all, that was in the beginning. You got the story. You got the story a little bit wrong. He said 6 months ago, I met my gold medal. I met the love of my life. He said, but 3 months ago, I made the biggest mistake on my life and cheated on her. Why the hell would you say that on national television? That was your way of apologizing? I mean, that was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my entire life. Number one, even if she's going to take you back, she's not taking you back now, because why would you tell the whole world that you cheated on her? So if she stays with you, now everybody's going to know that you cheated on her. Anyway.
And there's another chick who is in that competition where you shoot guns on skis. I don't know what the hell it's called.
Oh, yeah. What's that called? Something ski. Anyways, yeah.
Shoot ski.
Yeah.
And she was in jail for identity theft. She stole Olympians' credit cards and stuff in the village last time she was there. And she just won the gold in her event after she got released from the pen.
Story. Redemption story.
And also hockey's been awesome to watch. It's 3-on-3, and they're just these beasts. Canada is loaded. But yeah, that's been fun. Even women's hockey I was watching. I just throw the Olympics on, show Mila she likes ice skating. So
yeah, I was just saying, to make my stance clear, I'm not icy on the people doing it, on the sports. I actually love sort of just intricate sports, the idea of all these people caring, loving it, and doing it. My iciness was more to the fact of how much I think it has continued to fall from sort of national media grace. And that's probably my own fault for letting that impact my viewership of it. But yeah, it was more just my stance on where it sits today as a sport, and feeling like I didn't even know the things going on when it started. Obviously, I've known it's been going on for a week or however long. But at first day, I don't think I knew it had started. So it's not that I didn't know it was coming. It's not that I didn't know it was in Italy, but I didn't know that,
no, I got you.
I didn't get a lot of the hype either. It kind of started all of a sudden for me, but I was like, oh, the opening ceremony for the Olympics is on. Okay. But there I was.
But again, I saw this for months on Sunday Night Football. They promoted it. And then I don't know if you saw this maniac, Mike Tirico, called the Super Bowl, then went onto the field to give you Olympic coverage live from the field because it was all on NBC. So I got all of it from that. Anyways, I thought this had a much cooler name, and I think it has a nickname, but it says the sport that combines cross-country skiing and rifle shooting is just called biathlon. It's a winter Olympic sport requiring immense physical endurance for skiing and precision for shooting at 50-meter targets, usually alternating between standing and prone positions. Anyways, all right. Next subject. That's just a little educational moment for all you. I thought it had a cooler name, though, like ski shoot.
Yeah,
Jake.
I do.
And if it's not, it should be called ski shoot. All right. Number 2, and this gets a little bit weird. First of all, let's start by saying happy birthday to the man who's pretty much represents probably 75% of my attire, because boy, if the Jumpman branded did not do a doozy on old Billy Boy from right now, then since I was whatever. I got my first job at Eddie Bauer at like age 13 or 14, just so that I could buy Jordans because my pops wasn't going to pay $150 for no Jordans. So anyways, let's start by saying happy birthday. But then let's get to the thing that nobody seems to be talking about. Now, I don't know if this is just out of respect for the GOAT or because maybe it's just being overblown, but Michael Jordan, who's done a much better job, running his NASCAR team or whatever. I think he has more than one team. Anyways, he finally got his first Daytona 500 trophy, and he was in the post-game celebration. He was like hugging the trophy. You know that very infamous shot after he lost his dad, and he's hugging the trophy like this. He did the same thing with the Daytona 500 trophy, but that's not why we're bringing this to Icy Mid or On Fire. We're doing this because of the weird squeezing of the buttocks of a 5-year-old while the driver was making his speech. Now, there's been some explanations out there that maybe the kid had ice in his shirt or something, or I don't know. But if you watch the video, if you haven't seen it and you're watching this or listening to this, then go check it out. There's some very odd behavior. Now, I'm not going to go On Fire for me, but I can't go icy because the video is it's a little too awkward. Like, I just can't imagine your guys' reaction if you saw me giving not like one, even one would be bad. But we're talking, I believe it was either 2 hands or one, and we're talking like full butt squeezes, which, look, I'm a guy, I like to, they're getting too much older now, but when they were younger, I always liked to kiss my nieces and nephews on the lips. I don't think that that's weird. Some people do. I don't. I was raised where, I kissed my grandpa, my grandma, my uncle, all that stuff. So I don't think that's all weird. But this is crossing the line a little bit, squeezing the cheeks. I'm not going to go icy because it's a little too questionable. I'm also not going to go crazy and say that it's like some molestation thing or anything like that. So I'm just going to go mid, but either of you can say which one you guys feel on it.
We're the same. I mean, you can speak for me if you like, Jake. It's so much ado about nothing. It's so ridiculous. That's why people are smart enough not to make a big deal of it, except for the few people who aren't.
So you're not with me. You're icy on it.
I don't know if it's icy or hot. I certainly don't care about it and think Michael Jordan did any sort of sexual act to a young child on TV the other day. No, I don't think that happened.
Okay.
All right. It seems like a kid. He obviously knows really well. He was holding him and stuff, and I'm not sure he was grabbing his butt. It looked like he was just yanking his shirt back. Or
you got to rewatch the video, bud.
Well, it seemed maybe slightly awkward. He was excited. He seemed like he's probably like the godfather to the kid.
He knows the kid. He knows the kid well, but I mean, I'm telling you, if you guys saw me squeezing any of your kids' butt cheeks, you'd probably say something to me.
I don't think that's what he was doing, but
dude, you have to watch. If you haven't seen the video, then
I saw it. It doesn't look like he's squeezing butt cheeks.
Are you watching, Artie?
I've seen it many times.
Pulling back shorts or something.
Ice and he was pulling it out. Yeah. I also just don't think it's like, I'm not going to sit here and say I watched that and thought, oh my God, if that family wants to come out and say what Michael Jordan did was inappropriate, then we can have a conversation about it. But like, what do you mean? The guy was, I'm not worried about that video.
It's a lot of LeBron stands trying to tarnish Jordan is what I think.
Okay, fair enough.
Andrew Keogh out here. Trying to infiltrate the thread.
Andrew made a real big deal out of it, and I feel that was unnecessary. You're muted, Zach.
I know. I'm trying. Okay, there we go.
Right now.
There we go. All right. I would just say that it's a little more than nothing, but not a huge deal. All right, let's move along. This was added late to the sheet. But Art added, what are your thoughts on Joey Bosa potentially joining the Niners? Art, where'd you hear that from? I'll let you go first while I think about it, and then I'll go last.
I've just been seeing that in the we're bored, the NFL wins everything. Let's come up with some rumor mill. So nothing like some sort of super formal thing, but I've just been hearing that as the thing. Joey Bosa teaming up with the Niners, and I just thought, let's hear your thoughts. You want it or not? Jake, you go first.
Well, now hang on. What about you? Are you hot, mid, or icy on it?
Icy, because who wants a couple MAGAs on your ends?
Okay, Jake, go ahead, bud.
This was a thing last year, I believe, or 2 years ago. They were really close to signing Joey Bosa, and I thought it would be a good look. I mean, neither of them are healthy that often, but for at low cost, sure, I'm mid on it. I mean, it would be kind of cool. I don't care about their politics. I think they're damn good athletes, damn good players, and a good fit on the 49ers. And it would just be cool to see brothers out there on playing opposite DNs.
He's on fire. I'm on fire about it. But with the caveat of what you just said, Jake, assuming that it's for a low cost, absolutely. Two monstrous pass rushing brothers on the same line, absolutely. I mean, look, with how much the Niners are banged up, you might not want to bring in another injury-prone guy, but maybe this will be the year that he stays healthy, and why not would be more of mine. I mean, I guess that's kind of more mid, but I'm on fire for it because the upside, I could see that being a hell of a tandem. Remember, he's the younger one, right? Or is he the older one?
Joey's older.
Joey's older. Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah, he's a little bit longer in the tooth, but still, I mean, when healthy, he's a great pass rusher. And, yeah, I say why not? And maybe the brotherly love thing, I mean, it could only be a good thing. So, anyways, all right.
Did I hear Nick Bosa might need a contract again soon? Does time go that fast? Or is he still well into his, like, he's still
I don't think, definitely not this year.
Yeah. Okay.
I also heard Bradley Chubb is a potential signing for them.
He didn't retire like in 2022 or something?
Or not old? No,
he reminds me of a real old dude.
No,
he was still in his prime. He's still doing his thing.
I would say he's not washed up, but he's not in his prime. He's somewhere in between. He balled out for Denver, and he was balling out for the Dolphins before he got hurt. The Dolphins are cleaning house completely. We could do that. We could do that topic for another day. But the Dolphins cut him the same day that they cut Tyreek Hill, and yeah, I mean, I think he's still got it. That would be a good signing too. I hadn't heard that, but yeah, I'd be all for that too.
I believe Chubb's 30 and Joey Bosa's 32, if I remember correctly.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah.
Also,
so that's
Rags is saying Max Crosby. There are rumors of him maybe getting a trade worked out to the Niners. He's not very happy with the Raiders. I remember they shut him down at the end of the year, and he was pissed off. And he had some horrible freestyle or rap that he just had where he said he bought a house in the Bay with Stephen Clay. And so he wants to be, I think, in the Bay Area. He's hinted at it before. That would be amazing. That dude's a beast. Put him with Bosa, and that would be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. Chubb's been doing his thing. Yeah, he had a year off in 2024 with the injury. I'm just looking him up. Yeah. Played 17 games last year. 8.5 back, a whole year. I don't know if the Niners want to keep getting older. And I don't know if they're old, but, not necessarily the most athletic team. But anyway.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, let's move on to probably maybe a little bit of a yawn for our listeners. So I apologize in advance. So I'll try to make it as interesting as possible and not get into the whole minutia. But Tony Clark, who was the MLB PA, stepped down today amid some investigations or whatever. We don't have to get into all that detail. What I more want to talk about is it seems like there is going to be no resolution between Major League Baseball wanting a salary cap and the players not budging on that specific issue. So I ask you, it's up at the end of this year, but does it look like another lockout? The last one was what? When the Expos were supposed to win it all, the Expos and the Indians 94. Back then? 94. Do you think it's inevitable that there's another lockout? Because I do. And look, we've talked about Giants baseball and we've talked about the Dodgers and how ridiculous it is. And it seems like something needs to be fixed. And I just don't see either side budging. I don't know if you saw that report last year where Bryce Harper got into a fight with the commissioner, where he
Manfred.
basically said, Manfred. He basically cussed him out and said, "Don't even effing bring up a salary cap or whatever." And it got heated, and then that hit the media. But it seems like I just don't know what's going to change between now and a lockout looming with that issue, because I don't see the owners budging on there not being a salary cap, and I don't see the players budging on there being a salary cap. So anyways, rather than talking about Tony Clark and all the ins and outs, I just want to ask in general, you two are both baseball fans, because honestly, I do think baseball lost a lot of fans in 94, as much as people said they'll all come back, and a lot did come back. But I do think that part of the NFL and the NBA leapfrogging baseball, now it might have already done it back in 94. I don't think so, actually. Anyways, I do think a big part of that is not just because the game's slow or because there's 162 games or whatever other reasons you want to point out for why baseball is now third place in terms of the major sports. I do think that part of it was 94. I have heard people tell me that they don't like baseball or have never liked baseball as much since the strike. So I do think that that's real, and you can lose a lot of fans. I'm hoping it doesn't happen, but I'm just wondering, do you guys think it's inevitable? And will you care?
The 1994 strike lost a huge amount of fans for the MLB, and it took them years to recover, namely due to the McGuire-Sosa home run chase brought a lot of people back to the table.
Yep, that's true.
And that's credited for saving baseball or returning a big part of the viewership that was lost. I think a strike is going to happen. I think it's inevitable, or a lockout's going to happen. And it seems pretty dark. From everything I've read about it, there's not many solutions on the table. It's kind of just like wait and see what happens with no real plan. And so I'd say enjoy this year, baseball fans, because you might not get it for a long time after this. I don't know what's going to happen, but it doesn't sound good.
I got nothing for you. I hope it doesn't happen. That's about it. I don't think baseball can use it. I don't think baseball could survive it. So I think baseball is not in a situation. So if it's inevitable, baseball's in trouble, and they're going to have to come out with a real big rebrand, because what a time for that sport to deal with that. It is not the right time for baseball to go stop playing. So
well,
I just hope it doesn't happen. But I've heard what you guys are saying, that it's highly likely and almost inevitable, which yeah, that seems terrible.
Well, I think it actually, I think baseball got a little momentum last year with the changes that they made. I personally think that they could do without the ghost runner. Look, if a game goes into extra innings, let that be one of the longer games. I'm fine with that. Spotting a team, a runner on second, is a complete joke. But in terms of the pitch clock and shortening the game, I got, just not from anybody personal, but just random things that I saw in terms of the review that got. I think baseball got some momentum last year where people were able to get more into it. Once you're not talking about 5-hour games, 4-hour games, you're talking about some games that were under 2 hours or a little bit over 2 hours. Once you started talking about that, I think it became more digestible for a society that has such a short attention span. So to ruin all that momentum, and I think the play clock, I don't know if I've told this story before, so you can stop me if I have, but whatever. Who's ever listening probably hasn't heard it. But I went to a minor league game, and as you know, it was a AAA game. And as you know, they started with the pitch clock there to see how it went. Couldn't have gone better. It was so great. Basically, it was very quick. It was kind of like the tennis review, where it takes like 4 seconds. Now, this poor lady umpire got challenged like 10 times in a row, and she was wrong all 10 times. But the point is, it went great. So I think that that'll be a good adjustment as well. And so to kill all that momentum, look, the players are going to have to realize, I understand why they don't want a salary cap. Why would you? Especially not the big wigs that are making all this money. But baseball, okay, let me ask you guys this. Just answer one word. Which sport has the most level playing field?
NFL.
Football.
Yeah, NFL, right? Now, they have a salary cap. They don't have a salary floor, but all teams pretty much spend around the same amount of money. It's not this crazy thing where the Dodgers, I read this the other day, the Dodgers in that Who'd they sign? I always get Bryant and who are the
Tucker?
two guys? Yeah, Tucker. They're just between his salary plus what his salary is going to make them pay in luxury tax. Just him, just Tucker. Not forget Ohtani, who's making $100 million a year. Forget Mookie Betts. Forget Freddie Freeman. Forget everybody else. Just Tucker is more than 13 entire baseball teams' payroll. That's a problem. And if the players don't see that, they're out of their mind. Now, here's the kicker for me.
Go beat them.
Go beat them. Okay, Art. Good luck with that. Here's my caveat. You also have to have if you're going to have a salary cap, you got to have a salary floor. So, yes, I agree with teams can only spend X amount of money, and they can do the aprons like the NBA. It's not like the NBA is that big of a discrepancy in terms of payroll. So you can do aprons where it hits some taxes or whatever. But yes, ultimately a cap, but you also have to have a floor. So Pirates, my A's, I'm talking to you, all you guys taking all that revenue sharing and sticking it in your pocket instead of into the roster. Guess what? You have to spend X amount of dollars per year. So that to me should be the easy fix. But again, the players aren't going to go for it and the owners aren't going to budge from it.
Yeah, it's quite the conundrum, but I think that's a big part of the floor aspect is going to want Pittsburgh to maybe not, to keep things the way they are, and the Braves and your A's, like you said. So we'll see what happens, man. It doesn't look good.
All right, gentlemen. Sounds like Art's pretty much out on that subject. He might be out on a couple of subjects down the line.
Billionaires are cheap, man. What are we dealing? We're dealing with cheap billionaires.
By the way, MLB ratings went up last year, so it's making progress. So it would definitely hurt big time.
That's what I'm saying.
Bryce Harper says the Dodgers are the model franchise and that every owner could do it. I'm with Bryce Harper. You got a bunch of cheap billionaires.
No, but hang on.
Every sport is full of cheap billionaires who want the cities to pay for shit. They want to find a way to make money. 70% of them don't care if their team's good. You got the wrong people owning teams. You got the wrong heart in these sports. And so, yeah, the heart is dying in all sports. And this is all about revenue and nobody cares. And you got a bunch of bullshit that's infiltrated a lot of sports. And baseball.
Dodgers ownership is not cheap and Lacob is not cheap. I mean, there still are those hardcore Eddie D type of owners out there.
Of course. I'm just saying, you got a third of the league that's who you said. They want to not even have a floor because they don't even want it. You want to pay nobody.
But also, there is something to be said. The amount of money that the Dodgers bring in between their TV deal, between all the jerseys that they sell, they're making way more money than the Pirates are making. Yeah. So I'm not saying the Pirates owner is not a cheap, wealthy individual. But what I'm saying is the Dodgers have a much bigger pot to play with than the Pirates do.
You know how you make money on Shohei? You spend the money to get Shohei. That contract paid for itself in his first year. So they need to spend money to make money. So start doing
also all these guys
scared money don't make money.
Tucker got the same deal from offer, or it might have been a little more, but damn near the same deal to go to the Mets. Guys want to go to the Dodgers. Number one, it's LA. Why do you think LeBron's there? All the marketing opportunities that you have. Hell, Jake moved down there because there's so much opportunity down there. LA is the land of opportunity. So people want to go there. Plus, you can play with the biggest baseball freak since Babe Ruth. So players want to go there. You can go win championships. Players want to go there. The weather's better. Players want to go there. So there's a bunch of reasons why people want to go to the Dodgers, but still, you got to get some sort of grip on this where, again, I can't repeat this enough. Between what they're paying Tucker per year and what it's going to cost him just for his salary in the tax, just Tucker, just one player on the team is more than like 13 entire teams' rosters. That's got to be fixed because that is not competitive balance. In the NFL, how many teams went from last to first this year? I think it was like 5 or 6 teams went from
in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. 5 or 6 teams went from last to first, and every team believes, maybe outside, well, definitely not the Dolphins this year, and maybe the Browns pretty much every year, but that's because their organization stinks. The point is, every team believes going into the year, for the most part, that they have a shot. Nobody in baseball, even, look, the Giants, you could be as optimistic as you want. You know you probably don't have a chance to win it all. The Yankees think they have a chance. The Blue Jays think they have a chance. I don't even know if Mets fans think they have a chance. The Dodgers fans think they have a chance. There's probably 4 or 5 teams who really believe that they can win it all, as opposed to the NFL where there's a bunch of teams that think that they can. Anyways.
Giants won 107 and won the division in 2021 and took the Dodgers to 5 in the first series and should have won the series. And we thought we were playing against a stacked deck then. That's before,
and it's like
Shohei,
it's like times
before
5.
Freddie Freeman, before Tucker, before Snell, before Yamamoto.
Get that complicated. Get 3 good pitchers. Get a good bullpen. It ain't that complicated. Go build your pitching staff and go beat the Dodgers. It's not that hard.
Art said David and Goliath. Give me David. Fair enough.
It's just not that hard. And also, all these people, including y'all, that think the NFL is doing it right. The NFL sucked this year. And anybody who wants to say differently is lying. The NFL had an awful year. People are addicted to the NFL, so they love it. It was a terrible brand or a terrible product. There was bad football teams playing bad football week in, week out.
What?
People still don't know what catches are. People still aren't, people aren't getting hit anymore. It's a bad NFL product right now. So, yeah, they've found a way to market it, and people like it. The NFL is a bad product. And every sport is in trouble. It's not one sport that's in trouble. I love the NBA, and it's in trouble.
First of all, tell your son that. Your son loves the NFL product. Number 2, you're just saying that because the Chiefs were Tostitos.
It was a bad product, man. It wasn't good games. I watched more NFL this year than I watched years. These games are no good, man. You got a bunch of nobodies out there. Half the league can't play football. They don't know. You got a bunch of men who can't teach a bunch of other men to play quarterback. If you can't have 30 quarterbacks that can play, then just don't have them have a team.
The product's been pretty similar for a while now, Art. It's because the Chiefs are out of it.
No, first, you got all these guys. You got Bo Nix can barely play the position. You got Drake May, he can barely play the position. You got Geno Smith, he can barely play the position. You got this clown that was on Cleveland. Who was he? Who was the clown that started half the season? My God, was he terrible?
Shador Sanders?
No, the other guy, the clown, Dylan Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel,
yeah. He was so bad. You got Michael Penix, as average as it gets. You got Kirk Cousins on his last Achilles. You got all these quarterbacks who could barely play the position, and you got a league that says that you need a quarterback to win. It was a bad year, man. It was a bad year. You got the Niners, every player's getting hurt. How many superstars are hurt? Neighbors is out. All the stars are getting hurt.
That has to do with, I think, the preseason and not playing in the preseason. It's a whole thing, but let's move on from this. Yes, the NFL.
No, I'm not letting him go on that tirade before I chime in. Number 1, it's 32 teams, not 30. Number 2, they've never been able to field a competent quarterback for every single team. It's been like that. It's been like that since we were born. I don't know why.
Neil Lomax was better than Dylan Gabriel. I'll tell you that.
No, he wasn't, pal. Yeah, Neil O'Donnell wasn't better than Geno Smith. There was bums.
Was raw. Neil O'Donnell was operating back there.
There's been bums our entire life at the quarterback position. The only thing that changed, you weren't saying this shit when the Chiefs were winning back-to-back Super Bowls and winning 3 out of 5 or whatever the bleep it was. You're saying this shit now because the Chiefs were out. Other than that, you would not be going on this tirade. The NFL has never been better. Jake, look that up while I go to the next topic. I bet you their bleeping ratings were up. All right.
Who cares about the ratings? And Mahomes is a blessing. He got hurt, but he's blessed to be in this era too. He's going to get to play another 10 years because you're not allowed to touch him. You're not even allowed to hit the quarterback. All these guys get their ACLs tore because you can't hit them you can't hit them up high. So now you got ankles, you got knees, everything. It's not in great shape. You can say it all you want, but it's not. You can't hit the quarterback. You can't pressure the quarterback. It's like flag football.
All right. NBA, they say it's the halfway point, but it's not at all. It's about the 2/3 point. I think 2/3 of the games have been played. So we're kind of coming down the stretch run. I think, Jake, you referenced it, 30-something. You talked about how the Dubs are playing.
Games for the Warriors left.
27, yeah. So it's even less than a third. Anyways, what are you looking forward to down this stretch, gentlemen? It's looking like, and I'll just be general here, and then you can touch on specifics if you want, but it's looking like in the East, you got the rejuvenated, or whatever you want to call it, Cavs team with Harden, who are undefeated since he made the move, and they're saying all the right things, and they're feeling themselves. You got the Knicks, who obviously loaded up. The Celtics playing surprisingly good ball, and I don't know if you saw the previews for Jason Tatum's rehab special. I don't know why guys do stuff like this, but anyways. You got the Boston, who might be getting him back and have been playing just fine without him. There's somebody else in the East that I forget. Oh, the Pistons. My favorite. Well, I like the Knicks and the Pistons. So, anyways, you got that in the East, and then the West seems to be pretty much just the Thunder. I mean, I guess you can go Minnesota if they pick things up and Ant turns into Jordan. I guess you could go Denver, assuming that the Joker takes things seriously and he's not banged up. I mean, there's not a lot going on in the West, in my opinion. So to me, surprisingly enough, I'm more intrigued by the East than the West. What say you, gentlemen?
Agreed. This is Art's favorite topic, so I'll have Art speak on it.
If you ask me what I'm looking forward to, I'm looking forward to see if the Utah Jazz can put together a good stretch of basketball. That's my favorite.
What do you mean they're tanking? They're tanking. They sat there.
They're lightweight tanking. They're letting people play. They're doing things, but they got a plan. They got a master plan. They're coming back into next year. They're going to try to add a big pick to this core of JJJ, Markkanen, Keontae George. Now they're like, we just need our two guard, baby. We just need our two guard. They got Collier at the point behind George. I just like what Utah's doing.
For next
year,
you asked me about for next year.
Yeah, so you asked me about the NBA.
Okay.
In the West, I'm looking forward to watching my Utah Jazz over this next 27. I'm looking forward to watching the Warriors grind it out.
All right.
I think what you said about the East is spot on.
Okay.
I think they're more exciting right now because the West is a little – really the problem with the West is they're lulling you to sleep kind of the way the Big Three did the last time they tricked me. So the last time the Big Three in Boston tricked me, they had that terrible regular season where they were super mid, and then they came out and started whooping fools in the playoffs again. So they really turned it on in the last 10 games and then did it. So I think teams like Denver might get you intrigued again in the next couple weeks, right? People start getting healthier, people start playing. So I think the West is hard to.
Yeah, they gave OKC. They gave OKC everything that they could last year. Yeah.
Yeah, to me, the West is hard to gauge. I kind of wish Houston had a point guard because I think they would be a really tough out, and that's assuming that the Warriors don't really have a chance. So I'm talking about what I would want to see to have the most exciting playoffs.
You like the Rockets?
I love the Rockets if they had a point guard.
KD doesn't like the Rockets.
Yeah, I know that burner. If they had Van Vliet running that show, I'd love the Rockets. I think their team was set to really do something, but with him hurt, they really don't have a point guard. And they got nobody who could really run that show.
You guys haven't mentioned the Spurs. I kind of like the Spurs. I mean, they can do some.
You're right.
They can make some noise down the stretch.
Oh yeah, Wemby, Castle, Harper, Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're set for a long time.
Yeah, I was actually going to see if you guys were going to bring them up. I guess I just don't see them as I could see them getting in and winning a round, but I don't really see much outside of that. I was actually waiting to see who you guys were going to bring up. I brought up the Timberlakers before. The Spurs are a 2 seed. And I didn't bring up the Rockets just because I don't know. I had high hopes for them. Not that I'm rooting for them at all, but when they made that trade, that series against the Warriors, to me, reeked of all we're missing is a guy like blank, and the number one guy that I would have put in there would have been Kevin Durant. It seemed like they had all the defense, all the intangibles, great coaching, and like all they needed against the Warriors in that series was a guy that could score down the stretch. Enter KD. I thought they'd be a lot better, but I've actually watched more Rockets games than I've watched any, and I have no faith in them doing it. And in terms of the Spurs, I think they have, like Jake said, I think they're set up for the future. Castle, Wemby, Fox has been great. There's just something about that team that reeks. They need, I could see them winning a playoff round, but I just don't see them advancing much further than that, so I didn't mention them. And then the Lakers we didn't talk about. They still have, Luka, and they still have LeBron, and they still have Arts Boy Reeves. But I don't know. I can't see them going past a round. And then, I think it'll be fun. Look, I'll be rooting for my Suns, who, by the way, are a 7 seed out of nowhere. I thought they were going to have the worst record in the league. And then the Warriors are an 8 seed. Blazers are a 9 seed. And the Clippers, now that they've traded Harden, they still have Kawhi, who went bonkers in the All-Star game. So the West is going to kind of be fun. But the only 2 teams I really see coming out of the West is either the Thunder or the Nuggets.
As far as Houston is concerned, people I think are forgetting that in order to get KD, they had to trade Jalen Green, and he was a big part of their team last year.
Yeah,
and I think that that's a big loss.
And Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, true.
Both of which have been huge for the Suns.
Yeah.
I was going to say credit where credit's due, Dylan Brooks. He was probably the laughing stock of the league 3 years ago. Everybody pretended he couldn't play basketball. Everyone pretended he was a gimmick. And he left a team. That team became terrible. He joined teams, and every team he's joined has been great. And I don't think you can discount that. And I think he is really laughing at the rest of the world because he proved two things. He proved not only am I not a gimmick, I'm also a winner. And guess what? I'm what everybody really thought I wasn't. I could score 20 a game. Like, he was almost branding himself as like this defensive guy. And he is great at defense. But like, I just sort of assumed he was a rebounder. And I assumed he got a lot of steals and blocks. And then I just sort of looked at his stats. I was like, oh, you don't even do any of that. You're just like a menace and you score, which is just pretty hilarious. Because I think most people assume he's doing some of the little things. But he's like one of these dudes that's just trying to hit for 22 and get 3 rebounds and 1 assist.
Well, I mean,
he's not doing much else, which is just funny.
I think he is now. I'd have to look at the stats, but he's still a great defender, even if he doesn't get a ton of steals or whatever. He's a great defender. But Art, the reason why people thought he's a joke, and I still, part of me, I have a hard look. I'm a Suns fan and I'm rooting for him. I have a hard time looking at him and not kind of thinking it's a joke. But it's not because of his on the court play, Art. It's because he runs his mouth, and the times that he's ran his mouth, he's gotten it, given it to him. And it hasn't been once, twice, and then he's in the press conference with his chain and a jacket, but no shirt. And he looks like a clown too often. And I think one time when he ran his mouth and got absolutely shat on, he didn't even talk to the reporters. So it's not so much what's on the court, it's what he does off the court.
That was against the Warriors. Like, his whole history of shit talking the Warriors and getting
does not go well.
Fooled by him, and then shutting down and being silent as a church mouse is a bad look. But I did enjoy him. He had some funny ass interactions with LeBron a couple weeks ago. If you guys saw that.
Yeah. Quick thoughts, because I heard somebody say this might be LeBron's last year. Doesn't LeBron strike you as the kind of guy that's going to have a swan song where he says, I'm going to retire at the end of the year, and then every single stadium gives him like a present? Who did that? Was that Derek Jeter? I think the A's shouldn't have given him.
And Kobe.
Yeah. So every place that he went, they gave him a gift, like a
special present.
Like a guitar or like some crazy bleep or
big
whatever.
bottle of wine or something.
Yeah. So LeBron's doing that. No way this is his swan song,
if
right?
anyone in the history of the NBA were to do that, it would be LeBron James.
Yeah. If it hadn't been done already, he would be the first one to do it.
Yes.
So I would say no way on that. But you like them at all, Art? I mean, their only chance of winning is outscoring teams. They have absolutely no defense.
I don't think the Lakers are winning an NBA championship.
Art's Lake Show. I like Reeves and Rui are two players I like to watch, but I don't see them actually winning anything.
Gotcha. All right, gentlemen.
Well, basketball though, he's like shy. I love him, but he's like shy.
Fair enough. All right. Well, let's move on to the word. And we got this. I don't really understand this. I mean, I guess I understand it. The word, by the way, is the wacky world of sports, where we touch on any crazy story that happens to be related to the sports world. And Art sent us a link where, and I've heard this. This is not the first Olympics where I've heard this, but this is the first time I've heard this. They ran out of condoms in Italy. The Olympic team ran out of condoms in Italy. So what are your general thoughts, gentlemen? Look, I understand if you have a bunch of young, good-looking, probably a lot of testosterone and I don't know, just estrogen even build up in women, whatever it is, could build up when you're training for a sport for so many months, and then you're put in this little compound where you can just go room to room. There's probably like a Olympic Tinder. You know, you could swipe left, swipe right, or whatever. But how do you run out of condoms? Now, either one of two things happened here. Either they did a bad job and undersupplied, or they knew the amount to bring, and they're just humping more like rabbits than they ever have.
Well, Italy's a place for lovers, so they're caught in the moment there.
True,
you know what I mean?
true. You got to bump it up if you're in Italy. It's a romance. Well, so's France, though.
True. But yeah, ain't nothing wrong with a little bump and grind. Our boy Kel's taught us that. So good on them. My mind's telling me no. But my body's telling me yeah.
Are we allowed to sing R. Kelly still?
Baby.
Yeah,
let's go with Keith Sweat. No, I meant like, didn't he get canceled? Anyways, pretty bizarre. Art, your thoughts?
10K used condoms? If that number's real dumb, that's just weird. How many athletes are there? Because that, like, we start doing the math here. That means somebody's hoarding the condoms or something. How many athletes we got? How much sex you got to have? So use 10,000.
The numbers are high. They have very high numbers. I think it's multiple times a day for each athlete. That I saw a Real Sports thing on it years ago.
On average?
Yeah, like they just in between events at night before bed, like they're all just humping like jackrabbits, man.
Let's just Google this. How many athletes are in the winter?
Remember when we were kids, Art and Jake, and there was this myth, or not a myth.
No, there's a lot of athletes. Wow.
Anyways, when we were kids, there was athletes that would say that they wouldn't have sex like a couple days before a game because it would drain their legs or whatever. But it's not affecting these Olympic athletes. You remember that myth?
That's like an old NFL, an old football thing. Like I think my football coaches said that. Like don't in high school.
Yeah.
How many athletes you think there are? Because the Google just really shocked your boy and made that number no longer that. And like how many? You think
1,100.
Giving it away.
1,100.
Giving it away. 1,100. Zach, how many Olympic athletes are there this year?
I'm gonna go higher than that. You got because hockey teams, that's like 10, 20. I mean, I'm gonna go 3,500.
Yeah, I mean, Dom just had it there. He said roughly 3,000. I mean, I don't even understand. I thought there's like 8 events. Like, what are these people doing out there? Who are they and what are they doing? I mean,
banging.
3,000 people got invited. Now I'm not that impressed. 300.
Well, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people go raw.
Oh, I'm not even talking about. Sorry, I forgot we were even talking about sex. I'm just like, God damn, I'm not even impressed by the Olympians anymore. 300 Americans are showing up to the U.S. team. I mean, come on.
Yeah, shout out to the raw doggers out there.
Yeah, get in there. But yeah, I mean, we're not shocked anymore. If half of them are men, that's 1,500 men. You're there for a long time. Yeah, I mean, there's clearly people had to bring their own. People had to buy what was there, and that's just. Yeah, I mean, come on. We've all heard there's a lot of sex at Olympic Village, and apparently there's 10,000 athletes, and I guess they're getting used.
To go back to our Michael Jordan booty touching story.
Why?
The Michael Jordan, well, just because Tyler Reddick addressed it, and this just came up. Okay. He addressed it on the Stephen A. Smith show, who, by the way, is running for president. You want to touch on that real quick, Jake? Your thoughts?
We're running out of time, but it's definitely a worthy topic.
All right,
Tyler Reddick.
He's the one that won the Daytona 500. He's under Jordan. He's on Jordan's team.
The kid's dad.
Yeah, the kid's dad. He said, from my perspective, I've gotten to know Michael and his family very well over the years I've been here with 23XL or XI, and I don't see what other people see when it comes to this. For me, it's a huge moment. It's the biggest moment of my career for my family, and I just put that off to the side and think about the look on Michael's and Yvette's face and the whole family and the whole group when he got to victory lane 2 and just how happy everybody was celebrating together. So that's where I'm at with it.
He's not German.
Really?
I might have come out with a little more conviction than that if I really wanted to.
Exactly. Thank you.
That was a little odd of a response is all I'll say.
Exactly. I'm telling you.
My claim is that he clearly doesn't really think Jordan did something wrong and clearly doesn't love the whole interaction. That's what I just read.
Which is why I said mid.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Nothing too crazy, but definitely questionable.
Little awkward, but not that huge of a deal.
It's like, I'm putting that to the side. I mean, if you have to put it to the side, it means you did kind of question it for a second, but you're going to put it to the side and just keep thinking about Jordan's smile. That's a pretty funny excerpt from your
funny image there.
Making me chuckle for some reason. Anyway,
I'm just gonna think about Jordan cheesing. Just
Yeah,
walk
I'm
in
gonna
on
put
Jordan's
that-
bright pearly whites.
Yeah.
Oh, look at his yellow eyes and his beautiful smile.
With his yellow red eyes and his pearly white teeth.
Are we gonna? Can we? Should I get the hell out of here, or are we gonna wrap this bow up?
Yeah, we got to put a bow on this eventually.
We can wrap it up. Let's just go with what Jake was completely obsessed with. We can end on this. Kevin Durant's burner. Now, for the people that don't know, Durant is famous for not only replying from his own account, but he's been called out and found out for having burner accounts. I'm pretty sure this one's fake, Jake, which doesn't make it that funny or great of a story, but it came out. Has anybody credible put it out? I think somebody
Why do you think it's fake?
Because nobody has seriously put it out and he hasn't confirmed it or whatever.
No,
but
he hasn't denied it. It's a huge story, and he hasn't denied it.
Okay. Well then, go ahead, take the mic, tell the people.
Sam Amick was talking about it, and he was like, after all this, I was covering the All-Star weekend, so much to write about, and then this story just keeps growing and growing and growing about KD's burner. Where he's trashing all his teammates, he's trashing Steve Kerr. He has money in a drone company. He's talking about that on his burner. And so Sam Amick was like, yeah, people are reaching out to him and they're not denying it. Like his camp isn't denying it. And he said all this crazy shit about
he's admitted to using burners in the past.
No, I know that, but this one seemed ridiculous. Hang on. Jake sent it to the thread. Do you have it on you right there, Jake? Otherwise,
the list of quotes.
Yeah, listen to this. I mean, Art, there's no way this is real. Quote, Jabari Smith is the R word.
I've seen
quote, Steve Kerr has
hated
hated black people ever since Michael Jordan punched him in the mouth. If Israel needs drones, just let me know. Devin Booker and Frank Vogel, who was his coach and teammate when he was on the Suns, are dictators. Stalin and Hitler, Mussolini and Kim Jong-un. New one, the Suns are my team when we lose, and it's Devin Booker's team when we win.
Real shit right there.
Man, yeah. I miss Ben Simmons. At least he passed the ball. Steve Kerr never drew up plays or suggested anything, but he won a bunch of titles. I miss James Harden. He has a good heart. Kind of delusional, but I get him. Quote, Chris Paul doesn't know shit. Quote, if you don't run the cutoff and pass the ball to Steph Curry, the Warriors will cut you. Quote, does anybody know anything about Jokic's turnovers? Quote, Kyrie Irving didn't compete with me. Triple-double addict Russell West. Oh, that triple-double addict Russell Westbrook did. I don't know.
That sounds like KD to me, dude.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like KD.
His old burner said shit very similar.
You're telling me he went Kanye West and started bringing up Hitler? No way.
He didn't call himself Hitler. He didn't say he liked Hitler. He said Frank Vogel's Hitler.
By the way, if you know this article, then we can end on this. If you don't, then you can have it for the Humm Daddies. What's all this Tony Vitello thing? Clarifying comments about reporting around Giants' role. I wouldn't say anything I take too seriously. Have you read this?
Yeah. Tony V. Yeah, it's all over local media.
What's going on with that? Just touch on that to end it.
Yeah, he called out reporters yesterday. He sat down with reporters. First thing he said was, "Who was it that said that broke the news 4 days before I actually decided to agree to the Giants contract that I was going to the Giants?" He said that.
What's wrong with that?
He was implying that reporters were too early to say that he was going to leave, and that it messed with his relationships with coaches and stuff in Tennessee. And he's getting a lot of
flack.
It's not going over well for what he said about the whole situation, because now he's in spring training with the Giants. You got $1 billion product here, and you're talking about your relationships still with coaches and players at Tennessee. When you have a brand new team, you got to, learn, and you're dealing with the big leagues now. And he's in his feelings about the way it was reported that he was leaving his kids at Tennessee. So it turned a lot of people off, and he's kind of having to deal with the blowback from that.
Guy hasn't managed a game yet. Go ahead, Art.
Yeah, there's two main angles people are taking, which kind of makes sense. Like I think it's like a little much ado about nothing, but the two angles are basically like we're done. Like we have heard way too much about Tennessee. Like all people know about him is that he was like this great dude from Tennessee, volunteered. Like nobody cares about Tennessee less than us. There's not a Giants fan that gives two F's about what you did in Tennessee, and we can't stop hearing about it. So that's one angle. Like, stop telling us about your time in Tennessee. And then the second angle is a little bit of like the worry that people had about him is, can he handle the change, right? He's young, this is new, and the first thing he did was sort of demonstrate that he's going to step in the mud right away. Like, I can't handle the normal shit that comes with being in a high profile position. So I think those are the two angles that people kind of ran with. And then I think defenders have on the other side said, yeah, he didn't say much and he was able to, he just wanted to clear the air, and then he went on and had, so I think that's like sort of what I've heard on both sides. And I kind of agree with both. Like, I think he's a little on tilt and it's a little questionable that he did that. And it's like, whatever, who cares?
And that's a big part of it. His inexperience shows that, it's not that big of a deal what he's saying. But when you say it, when there's nothing else going on in the first week of spring training, that's going to be a big story. So he's just showing that he's a rookie manager right there.
Yeah, all right. So you know what it's called? You know what it's called to me? Spring training. Let the man get his feet wet. All right, we're going to end on a lighter note. And I think this is how we're going to end every show. We're going to get a softball update from Art. Now, as you guys know, this is the Humm Daddies umbrella. It's a bunch of daddies that like sports. I'm a daddy in a different way. Well, actually, I'm a daddy now to my little baby girl, my little 3-month-old over here. So... But Artie is a daddy, and Artie has decided to take over managerial duties. So I think at the end of every show, we get a softball. He's now coaching his daughter Lila's softball team, who's, 10 now? 11 now? What the hell is she?
She's 9, turning 10 in May.
9, okay. 9-year-old Lila. He is the head honcho. He is the Tony Vitello of his daughter's softball team. So I think at the end of every show, we get an update. How have practices been going? When are the first games? Uncle Zach's coming out to go see it. How's it going? How do you feel about your squad? And were there any reporters that leaked that you were going to become a manager before you had officially made your decision that you were going to coach your daughter's team?
No big leaks yet, fortunately, about the big plans that we have for the 10U Wildcats. We are officially the Arizona 10U Wildcats. I'm looking forward to sporting that hat every once in a while for the podcast. We can all root for our Wildcats. I'll say this. We've had 3 practices. Only got 10 people on the team, just got given an 11th. So not quite a large roster, which in one way I like because we're a pretty decent roster. And on the other side, like when people miss, you got problems. So, there's been some bad communication with the league. Don't want to throw them under the bus, but some late timing and late information coming out. So first practice, people only knew for about 36 hours. We had half the team show up. That was a little awkward for your boy, right? It's his first practice, his first time as a manager.
Yeah.
He's like, are we even having a practice? What are we doing?
Yeah.
So that was a little rough. We had a beautiful Monday night practice after that. We hit the ground running. All of a sudden, I had that bat. Bam! Bam, we're hitting grounders. They're starting to look good. I'm starting to get in the rhythm. I'm getting these girls moving. They're starting to have fun. End of the day, everybody was pumped. Everybody was like, yeah, that was so fun. I was thinking, man, we got a good team. We got a nice infield. Then we hit another wall next Saturday.
What happened? Lack of attendance?
Kids. Yeah, you got 6 kids, and now you're back on tilt, right?
How do you practice? How do you practice with 6 kids?
Yeah, you work their asses off, right? You tell them this is what we're going to do, and you work hard. But no, we've had a good time. We're looking forward to it. I think we're going to hold our hat on how can we win without any dominant players. Little league is full of dominant players. We don't have a dominant.
You're the Giants of the even years.
We have a very solid looking squad. We got a lot of young ladies that can play infield. I believe we could win with pitching and defense. So we're going to be like your 2010, 2012, 2014 Giants, and we're going to try to win some in Mustang 8-6 ball games, maybe some 10-8 ball games. Right? We're not going to win 18-14. It ain't going to happen that way with our team. We're not going to hit like that. So we're going to have to make some outs. So that's what I'm thinking early on. How can we make some outs? Now I'm going to end with this. The one thing we lucked in on is they got hat picks for people who don't show up for tryouts. You put a name in a hat, you pick them. I got a young girl whose mother coaches the 14U travel team, and she's a pitching coach. And if there's one thing any of you dads out there know that are coaching softball is you're trying to teach pitching and you can't, or you're trying to, you're on YouTube because it's underhand and it's this whole new. So the confidence level isn't quite there. And now I got a woman who's a master who says, oh, I'm going to come 45 minutes before practice. You can offer it whenever you want. So the number one thing that I was like, man, how am I going to manage this? Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to help? The only thing that was causing me a minor bit of stress is sort of like, wow, I can't believe how lucky I am. So I'm hoping that turns into a huge asset for us, and I'm hoping we can grind some things out. So yeah, that's the update.
All right, tell the people where to follow you on Twitter and Instagram.
Art.knows.sports on Instagram. Art_knows_sports on X.
All right,
Twitter.
and J. Lou, tell the people what's coming up Thursday. This is not just a once a week. What do we got brewing for Thursday?
Well, the Humm Daddies are going to hum. I've been talking to Larry Krueger, trying to get him on the show. We'll see if that happens this Thursday. If not, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. And we're going to talk maybe Mount Rushmore of Bay Area athletes and just have some fun stuff. Spring training, Warriors, the youth.
Yeah, you threw that out there for President's Day, and I gave you mine. So, maybe I can make a little cameo, let the people know what the real Mount Rushmore is. You can follow me on Instagram at 11ZAK11 and on Twitter at Zach Sports, ZAK Sports. J. Lou, follow everything at Humm Daddies, right? They'll find you.
Humm Daddies, Localeasy
on Twitter. All right, gentlemen, y'all have a wonderful rest of y'all Tuesday night. See you next week.
Don't drive up to Tahoe. Take a break on I-80. Peace.
Holla.